Last night, ultra billionaire Mike Lynch, the UK's version of Bill Gates, tech giant's yacht sunk in Sicily. On 5/7/24, the Lord gave me 57 EAM emergency alert messages that were pre-news, things that would make the headlines. I wrote these in the dark in a notebook when I realized it was a serious list. We are working our way through the list, and some of those things have been published and others not. I believe this story is a timestamp of where we are on the list, which we can rely on to look at what's coming up next. Here's a clip. The name Randolph, associated with Sicily and pirates. The now missing Mr. Lynch is a UK citizen. He sold billion-dollar company to Hewlett-Packard, and they felt like he cheated them. They sued him, and he fought back in U.S. court. He sold his company Autonomy to Hewlett-Packard for, I think, $11 billion. Hewlett-Packard thought that he exaggerated its worth. He declared his innocence for all these years. Hewlett-Packard has been going down after like 75 years in the business, trying to keep up with new tech. These were two giants in a fight. Mr. Lynch felt like Hewlett-Packard was scapegoating him, even though while their company was failing anyway. The case dragged on because Mr. Lynch refused to be extradited to the U.S. because of business, right? They finally put him in chains and brought him over and put him in jail with, I think, $100 million bail, which he paid. Then he lived over here until the court was in session. It only recently settled. So it's only been a little over 2 months ago that he was cleared of all fraud charges. HP, Hewlett-Packard, lost, and Mr. Lynch got to go home to see his family. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I'm not the judge. But I do stand on the Lord. When he declares that something's important, I pay attention. I follow him. I tried to do research on that clue and got nowhere a few months ago when this came in. You see my little chicken scratch there. The clue was Sicily, Randolph, pirates, something to do with Randolph. Since that day, I've seen no headlines about Sicily till this morning. Honestly, I thought, what does that have to do with war? Sicily is in northern Italy. It is on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. We'll get back to that, but let's talk about Randolph. So I'm deep diving Mike Lynch and HP, Hewlett-Packard, looking for anybody in the organization with the name of Randolph. Interesting to note, HP Packard joined the Nixon administration as the Secretary of Defense. This fusing of tech and government we see really strong these days. I also learned that Steve Wozniak of Apple invented the first Apple computer while working for HP. He was so faithful to HP that he offered them the first chance to buy it up from them. They refused. So then he contacted Steve Jobs, who he was reluctant to do business with, would have rather been with HP, he thought. He was faithful to them. Hey, look, HP started in a garage in Palo Alto, too, California. That site where they started HP is a California National Monument with a plaque stating, "Here was the birth of Silicon Valley." That's how big this thing is. But tech being tangled up with the agency boys in D.C. is something that communist California knows all about. Just bear that in mind when we're talking about this case. As goes California, so goes the nation. In my research, I didn't find any Randolphs connected to Mike Lynch. All I had to do was put in Randolph Hewlett-Packard, and this guy came up. Randolph Dove, retired from Hewlett-Packard. I would say he's a frontier, running the middle game between high tech and the government. He was educated in the UK and was a president of so many things between government and big tech that my tongue was stumbling over itself trying just to read it. Unbelievable. He's currently on the board of directors for that Center for Public Policy Innovation, CPPI, in D.C. It's a not-for-profit think tank of experts Still middling government and big tech. For example, one of the things they're working on currently is transforming Congress through using AI and how to achieve security outcomes through AI. Wasn't there a movie like that where they were using a computer to figure out who was going to commit a crime and then arresting them ahead of time? Pre-crime arrests, because we predicted what you were going to do through the computer. Hewlett-Packard is in 170 nations. Oh, hey, look, also in Italy. Let's talk about pirates. I even found pirates in the Mediterranean Sea, and even especially coming out of Italy centuries ago. It is interesting, though, to consider that pirates can enter your boat and take all your stuff and sink it. Some things never change, right? But then I realized, wait a second, piracy is a big tech term, especially in acquisitions, copying, selling, buying and selling, software, businesses. I was like, this is about tech, piracy. I'm not knowledgeable enough to understand why the Lord looks at this case and thinks piracy. But after over 30 years of walking through cases with him, this I know for sure. He knows exactly what he's talking about. All glory to his holy name. I think these clues will help us to use discernment and be aware as they investigate this case and what happened and what they say happened and who may be involved. Consider these things. Consider what the Lord said. Sorry about the green filter, but I think it's easier to see my chicken scratch. Remember, I wrote this in the dark, so 11 o'clock at night. When I say that this odd tech crime or catastrophe in the middle of a war headline message from the Lord, I think my discernment says that that's a timestamp that we're supposed to look at. When this happens, when you see this happen, then know that the next things are going to follow. Because when I made this video, I didn't know they were in order. I've only learned that over time. So these are the next events, because that other pirate thing was at the bottom of the previous page. So this is what we're looking for coming up. These clues have been international. So the next things on God's list are wipe off, powerful explosion, kiloton, missile, melting pot arena, foreshadow, power fail, development delay, water wall, sniper. I can't read the other one. Blow, overtake, blow, candlestick army, and pellet guide. Pellet guide reminds me of the Supreme Court, or the appellate court. Anyway, that is what I have for you guys today. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk soon. These things just keep unfolding and unfolding into more and more truth. He is the truth. That's why we follow him, to know the truth that sets us free. I love you guys. Talk soon.